Jai Hind, everyone, and good afternoon to all of you. Today, the topic which is I'm going to teach you, that is comprehension. Means a lot of students demand to Borekar sir, sir, we want some guidance on the topic of comprehension. So, first of all, the title is very clear. What is aid to comprehension? That is called it in the general language. But actually, the title, from the title, we try to guess what is this comprehension. First of all, can you explain in a short line? Anybody else? In a short line, what is comprehension? Yes, okay, that is a very overall idea you have. There are some one passage come from somewhere. I have to read out that passage, and then what? I have to solve some questions which are given above the passage. That is a very simplest things which you know. But what is the typical meaning of this comprehension? Why this comprehension is given to your syllabus of SPI, as well as it is also given to the NDA. 5 questions comes in your NDA, that is over 2 marks, consisting 2 marks each question. It is equal to 10 question minimum. 10 marks comparison comes in a NDA. Sometimes it might be 2 or 3 questions comes in a examinations. So comparison means to say that what means comparison. You have some idea that a passage comes and I have to solve the question which is given above the passage. But what is the perfect meaning of comparison? What is that? Anybody else from you? Huh? Okay. First of all, get to the meaning. Comparison means the ability to read, then read and understand the passage. This is the proper meaning of a comparison, that the ability of that student, whether the child, whether the pupil, whether the student is able to read out that language or not. Whether that child, means suppose that as a human being we have a God gift of what? We have a God gift given by the God to us, every human being. What is that? That is language. Every human being can speak a different kinds of language on this earth. We are animal, but we are a human being. That the animals have their language in the same kind of a manner. We have languages all over the world. That why language is being produced in the world? Do you know why language is produced in the world? Or to make the communications, whatever the feelings, desires, emotions comes in our heart, to express that feelings, emotions, desire to somebody else, to make the communications with someone else, to the human being. That is why that the symbolic language has been developed in the ancient period, and then afterward, merely slowly, that the languages, different kinds of languages has been developed all over the world. For only one purpose. What was the purpose? What was the purpose at the time? To express our view, point of view, in feelings, emotion, desire, ideas, whatever so comes in our heart or in the mind, to express that, the language is produced by the human being. But next one is important thing, key, that here the comparisons come. So yes, obviously we are a Maharashtrian people, that's why it is Marathi is our mother tongue, that's why we can understand mother language. For example, Marathi, very well we brought up in a Maharashtra, that's why from the birth we listened, we heard Marathi language in our surrounding, in our home, in our family, in our relatives, in our school, wherever we go. we heard that language by the birth and we automatically grasp it and we try to speak that languages from the childhood. And that's why we feel that Marathi is my mother tongue. But if you can take the example of someone else who is born in America, who born in Australia, or who born in a Adivasi community, or who born in a Banjara community, you will find out that the person who born in a Adivasi community, he can speak Adivasi language. The person who born in a Banjara community, he can speak a Banjara language. The person who born in a Marathi family, he can speak a Marathi language. A person who born in a Gujarati family, he can speak a Gujarati language. Why it is to be happened? Only because of that, because by birth we have got some language nearby us. Similarly, there are a lot of languages, and to check your understanding, in the same kind of manner in a Marathi or in other languages, a paragraph come and thoroughly you have to read out the paragraphs and you have to give some answers to the questions given. But now, moving toward the English language. English is an international language. It is accepted as an international language all over the world. It is accepted as international language. Why? Anybody else? Why English is called an international language, or why English is adopted as an international language? Same kind of answer is there. For suppose that an Indian person want to make the communications with the Canadian, or an Indian want to make the conversation with the Britishers or Australians or West Indian. So how we will make the conversation with that person, or how a country can interact with the other country? For that purpose, English is accepted as an international language. Means to say that we can do our all communications in English, not in a native languages. There are also native languages in West Indies or Australia or Canada or wherever you will go there. But that the English is considered as an international language. Now moving toward our comparisons. So now you are studying, you are trying to give SPI examinations. In that, one of the chapter come on comparison. So very well known, these people very well known that English is not our language, it is an international language. When you want to become an officer in your life, you have to talk, you have to make a communication with the other country people also. So you should be able to speak in English. To check your fluency, to check your reading, to check your understanding, here the English is introduced to you. Now, and the comparison means to say that one paragraph is given to your exam, in your examinations, and you have to give the answer of the questions. Okay, that's it. Clear what is comparison and why it is given to your syllabus? Okay, next one. Generally, for example, comparison means to say that you have to read out the paragraphs and you have to understand it. You try to find out that how much the student understand that paragraph. How much? Up to the what capacity that the student have. For example, we see so many child from 4 to 50 year old when they started to speak Marathi language or other language like that. So somebody says, suppose there is a child who gives an answer very well in Marathi or who speak Marathi, someone what reply? Your child is very brilliant. The child is very little, he is of a 4 to 5 year old, but actually from his comparison means that suppose that he can read something else, otherwise he can understand something else, and he is giving the answer to you, it means to say that yes, the child is very brilliant. And such kind of experience we got in our day-to-day life. Don't be asleep. Then here it is also one motto that when you are going to prepare for the comparisons, so it also checked your ability of a vocabulary. It also purposed to check your vocabulary, synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms and antonyms. It is also with the comparisons you are able to increases your mental ability of vocabulary, and in your SPI examinations or in ND examinations, synonyms and antonyms comes for the 10 marks in for ND examinations. Synonyms comes for 10 marks and antonyms comes for 10 marks. So here that is the most another motto. Then next point I would like to explain. Comprehension means to say that a passage. A passage, generally what we define, a passage comes and you have to read out the passage and then you have to give the answer. Take out your notebooks. Then, so here I distribute this passage into two: seen and unseen. Seen and unseen. तुझ्या मागे बाजूचा उभा राहा. Stand up. Yes. Stand up. Don't think that the class is going on online, so I can do anything else in the class. What is seen and unseen? Which we experience. Which we? Unseen means the passage which comes out of it. Anybody else? What is the difference between seen and unseen? It's a very simple word. The passage is related with the comparison concept. So there are the passage, we distribute the passage, seen passage and unseen passage in that way. Up to the 10th, similarly, such kind of a passage comes and we distribute them seen passage and unseen passage. Sit down. Seen passage means to say that some passages or some in your textbook you have so many lessons that can be taught by your teacher to you. When your teacher teaches to you, he explains line to line that lesson to you in your class, and then you come to know about that passage. That is called, means it is the realization of the passage to you in the class. That is why we can tell him that yes, it is a seen passage because I have already studied it, I have already learned it, I have already gone through this passage. That's why I have seen that passage in my textbook. I come to know about this passage. Yes, I know this passage. So that we can say, yes, it is a seen passage. Now, unseen, typically opposite word of a seen. Unseen means unseen. Yes, the passage which is unknown to us. Unknown to us means it will be not come from any specific book. English is a very vast language. So many writers are they write about the English, about their views, about their point of views, etc. So that some passage will be taken, it will be given to your examination. You have to read the passage and you have to give the answer. So that's why we can call it as an unseen passage. Okay? Because you are totally unknown about that. You don't know where did this passage come. That's why we can say unseen passage. So we can distribute it like that. So for that purpose, its unseen passage is totally depend upon the paper setter. And those paper setter are there. So if he like that one of the passage, he will take out. But you are not known to that passage. That's why we can say it as a unseen passage. Okay. Suppose that next, So what we have to do for steps, or we can say that steps, what we have to do to find out the comparisons question, comparational questions, what we can do. So there are some steps. It is a very easy to get in the get the mark in the comprehensive chapter. Very easy, because already the passage is given to us. Up to and unless in a 10th standard passage comes in the question paper. Yes, okay. You know very well what is the passage writing, etc. So what is the technique you adapt to solve this? Suppose that you have already given 10th examinations. A paragraph come in your question paper. What technique you adapt to solve that question paper? Yes.
First we read the passage,
Yes.
understand it, and as per the question we can.
Yes. Okay. Did there unseen passage come in your question paper?
Yes.
In 10th also? Okay. Sit down. Very good. Okay. We firstly read out the passage. Suppose that passage, seen passage, or which already taught by our teacher to us. So it is very easy to us understand as well as to solve the question. And unseen passage, it's little bit difficult to solve because some new words comes, or some different kinds of concept come in that passage. It is not explained to us by someone else. So that's why it is little bit what we can say, it is little bit difficult to solve. Okay. So how we try to solve that question? Seen passage. In a seen passage, we read out the question. Firstly, we read out the paragraph. Then we try to get the meaning. And then what we do? We try to get the answer of that passage, answer of the question from the passage. How? May I tell you something else? Like that, in a rural area, what the people do? The same word in the question and the same word in the paragraph. What they do? They write down one line above of that word, middle line of the word, and the last line of the word. In that way, they give the answer and they feel that yes, my answer is correct. But actually, it is totally, completely wrong method to solve that such kind of a comparative seen or unseen passage. So here I would like to give some steps to you. You can mention in your notebook, that will be helpful to you to solve that comprehensive passage. First, steps to solve comprehensive passage. First thing is, what you have to keep in your mind, that whenever you want to solve that most important thing, whenever you want to solve the comprehensive passage, strictly answer on the basic paragraph only. Don't add some other information from yourself. Don't give the answer out of that paragraph. That is the most important note. You can write down in your notebook, or you can keep that note in your mind. Those steps. First thing is that you have the 3 reading. You have to read out the 3 times. Okay. So like that, I have to read out the 3 times. Sir told me 3 times I have to read out. Okay. First time, second time, third time, not in that way. Okay. What you have to do, the first is, in the 3 reading, I have distributed it into 3 parts. Reading, 3 time reading, but that reading is distributed in a 3 particular way. What is that 3 particular way? First is skimming. Skimming reading. Anybody else? Can you tell me the meaning of skimming? Skimming reading. Skimming reading. Anybody else from you? Can you give me the answer of this? This is the one of the word skimming reading. What is skimming reading? Just go through means rapidly reading. It is called rapidly reading. Just when you got through the comprehensive section, you have to first follow the first reading, that is skimming. Skimming means to say that a very hurried or rapidly reading of that passage. And when you read that passage very rapidly, what is the motto behind it? What is the motto behind it? Okay, take a glance of the paragraph. Okay. The main motto is that to get the central theme of that passage, that is related with the skimming. Central theme, that is central idea of the passage. That means first time when we read out, we got the central idea, that is skimming reading we called it, central idea of the passage. So can you give me one example of it, skimming reading? Example means in a day-to-day life. You can take the example of day-to-day life. Just a newspaper. A newspaper come to you, to your home. At the moment, what we do? We get the newspaper and we try to read out. We never read a newspaper very carefully. What do we get? What we get? We get a central idea that in a Bihar such kind of incident happened, in Delhi such kind of incident happened, in a sport such kind of incident is happened. Why you are laughing? If you are making some notes, please tell me. Stand up. Why you are laughing? If you are getting me or not? Are you understanding? Okay, don't be laugh. Sit down. Central idea of newspaper. Generally, when you read out, we skimming. We skim. There are the 6 to 7 page newspaper, and we just skimming. Wait, what are the headlines? Just we read out something else. Then we left. Then we turn to the second page, third page, fourth page. National news, international news, anything else, or film related news, everything else. But we never read out very seriously. That is called skimming reading, rapid reading. And in the rapid reading, what is motto? We have to get the central theme of the passage. Okay. Then the next one is reading is that a normal reading. Normal reading. Normal reading means to say that firstly, what you have to do whenever the question paper comes, you have to read it very separately. That is skimming reading, and try to get the overall idea, central idea of the passage, what the passage is content with, which information is given in this passage. Then normal reading. In the normal reading like that, you read out some of the stories by heart, some of the poems, or some of the novels, whatever so. Like that, you read out it very normally, you read out it very what is we can call, not very tentatively, but normal. In normal position, you read out it, and then another things, try to get the some meaning of the word. Otherwise, what we can say here, you can here in a normal reading, suppose that when you are reading that passage, you are reading second time in a normal, you are in a normal position reading. So that's why you take out or you can underline to the difficult word. What I say, you have to take out the meaning of the passage in the normal reading. Try to take out the meaning. So therefore, when you are trying to take out the meaning of the passage, at the moment definitely there would be some word, difficult word. Which word will become there? Difficult word. In a skimming, we have to get rapidly reading central idea. Yes, I have got it, the central idea of the passage. Then now in a normal reading, you have to read out the passage and try to get the meaning of the sentences. In that, what you have to do? You have to underline difficult word. Here in that, you have to underline difficult word. Those words you know, don't know. Those words you are unable to know. Meaning, those words you have now never heard. So then you can underline that all word by with your pencil or a pen. Then this is your second reading. Now, moving toward the third reading. Got it? May I repeat? Now, the third reading. It is your tentative reading. It is your tentative reading. I have deliberately proposed a one word. In tentative means what? In tentative, it is called careful reading. The third reading is incentive reading. There you have to read out the passage very carefully. When you will read out that passage very carefully, like that you are doing the study, at the moment we read out some notes very seriously, carefully, we can use a seriously. In that, you have to get the meaning of the sentences. What? Meaning of sentences. You have to get the meaning of sentences. It means to say that you are giving your 3 times reading to the passage which you are completely unknown to you. You are giving a 3 times reading. It means now this passage is come to known to you. Thoroughly it is come to known to you because you have already read out that passage 3 times. That's why. You can take the example of a scene passage there. When your teacher teach you in a class, at the moment, how many times he explain? Firstly, he get the silent reading, then loud reading, and third time he explain that passage. Like that, 3 times you can read out the passage and you can get the meaning of the sentence in a, that is initiative reading or scanning. We also scanning also, or otherwise careful reading or serious reading. Then here most important thing is that here in this steps in sensitive reading, इंटेन्सिव्ह म्हणजे ज्याच्यामध्ये इंटेन्शन आहे, समथिंग इंटेन्सिव्ह, व्हेरी सिरियसली, इंटेन्सिव्हली आय एम रीडिंग समथिंग एल्स, व्हेरी सिरियसली, केअरफुली. Here you have to go through the word or the content of the question also. Then after that you can move in the fourth stage. You have to move toward the question. After reading 3 times, then you read out the questions. Means what will happen? Already you have got an idea of that passage. Already you have gone through the difficult word of the passage. Already you have gone through the understanding, better understanding of the sentences. Everything else you have done, and then now you should move toward the questions. If which kind of a questions comes in that above up to the passage. Then generally when we come toward the question, here questions are very tricky. Questions are very tricky. Don't do any hurriedness to solve the hurriedly, rapidly. Yes, I have gone 3 times. Now what I will do? It's very easy for me. Now I can solve in a very within a second. Don't do very hurriedness, because it is very tricky. Questions are given in your SPI or ND examination. Both are simultaneously. Both exams are very same. So the tricky is given there. So that's why in a hurriedness, don't try to solve very hurriedly that questions. There are tricky questions. Sometimes options are very close. In that, very close to each other. Tricky questions are very close to each other. That might be deceived to you in a hurriedness if you try to solve. So it might be deceived you and your answer would be wrong. That's why do one thing. You have to focus on the word which is given, like the vocabulary. We can talk about the vocabulary. You have to try to get that vocabulary word. You have to try to get the meaning of that word, where it is in the sentence. What is the closest word to that word? What is closest opposite word to that word? Try to find out it, and then you try to solve it. Then next one, analyze the questions and read the option carefully before answering. Analysis the question. Analysis. Try to get. Analysis means to that detail of the question. What kind of a question is this? How I can solve it? Try to get the analysis. Means, for example, suppose that you are suffering from any disease. I would like to give a day-to-day example to you. Suppose that you are suffering from any disease, stomach headache, stomach pain. So suppose that you have stomach pain, and when you meet to the doctor, you said, "Sir, I have a stomach pain in my stomach. Here I am getting some pain." What the doctor do? What he do? Check up. Firstly, he tried to get the over analysis. Then, if he got some confusion, what he tell us? To do the sonography. That is called analysis of the body. Sometimes he tell that you go do your sonography, you take out some X-ray, you take out your blood reports. Okay. When he got such kind of a blood reports, or urine reports, then sonography reports or whatever so he mentioned in that prescriptions, we do it. Then that is the analysis of our pain, and from that report he tried to diagnose our body. In the same kind of a manner, you have to analyze the question. Don't be hurried to solve the questions. Okay, take it this medicine and go. No, doctor never do like that. In the same kind of a manner, what you have to do? You have to analyze the question yourself. What is the meaning of this question? Why it is to be asked? Think over it. Try to analyze that question and then read the option carefully. Here the option is that blood report or sonography report or urine report, like that. These options are given to us in the same kind of a manner. Which example I have given to you of a doctor, in the same kind of a manner, these options are like the reports of the question. What the problem is going on, that the reports comes, 4 reports come in the same kind of manner. A question is given to you and the 4 analysis is given to you, 4 answers is given to you, and then you have to read the option very carefully. Read out the options very carefully and then try to give the answer. Okay, then you try to give the answer. This is the proper methods of solving comprehensive part of SPI as well as of your NDA examinations comprehensive part. Most importantly, that when you are able to do, when you will increase your vocabulary, first thing is that if you want to solve this, you have to read more and more. So here I would like to give some tips to you. In a comprehensive, tips for comprehensive, which will make you very easy in your exam to solve, and it will also save your time. For that purpose, what you have to do, you have to read more and more. In which language? English. Because the exam is related with your English language, that's why. Read out more and more. For example, if you are getting everyday's newspaper, read out it. Completely read out it from the first page to the last page. That is first thing. Then read out novel. Suppose that your newspaper, daily newspaper. Then novel, if you have got some novels, you can read out novels more and more. That is very easy way to get the comprehensive. Then third thing is that dramas. Read out dramas books. There are a lot of dramas written by so many writers. So you try to read out. Get through that community. Get through that surrounding. Yes, I have to go through this comprehensive part. So for that to develop. So what will be happen? Then watch movies. Watch English movies, not other movies. Adventurous. Definitely such kind of a surrounding will make you to speak in English very well, as well as it will make you to, it will help you to solve this comprehensive part, as well as it will be also helpful to you in a SSB. your SSB is conducted totally in English language. So that's why you can do these things in your day-to-day life. Then another important thing is that you can make a conversation with your friend in English. Don't hesitate. Suppose that somebody is teasing you. Look at that person is speaking English. He seems to be very smart. Don't try to get him. Try to ignore him. Think that he is a stupid person who is criticizing me. Don't think in that way. You say that, okay, you don't want to listen, you go from here. We want to speak in English, we want to make a conversation in English. That will be very better for you. It will be very better for you, your future also. Okay? Got it? Yes? Any problem? Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you very much.